Guys, it's Adria and welcome back to my kitchen. Today we will be discussing the difference between braising and stewing. Now they are both very similar. They're both moist heat cooking methods and they are both used to cook meat, but the way they do so is somewhat different. So for both, you're going to start by browning your meat. Today, our meat will be chicken breasts. So for braising, which is what we'll be doing today, you're going to start by browning that meat, of course. And for braising, you're going to have larger chunks of meat. You're going to have like I said, chicken breast versus a small cutlet of chicken or something like that, or you'll have large chunks of beef or like lamb chops, something with bone in. Typically is like the example people use for braising. For stewing, you're gonna have little chunks. So you're gonna have very small cuts of meat within your stew, and it'll be basically floating around that larger amount of liquid that you're gonna have. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and brown our chicken breast, take a break, and then we'll come right back. Okay. So our meat is browning as we speak. And what you're looking for when you're browning this meat is a caramelization on the bottom of the pan, kind of, which is known as fond. And what this does is it adds like a rich, savory flavor to the end of your stew or braise. Now I'm going to remove the chicken breasts from the cast iron skillet and show you the fond that I was discussing. I can already see a bit of it on this side, but you see this little caramelization there? That's the fond that I was discussing that should give us a really decent flavor. So the next step in braising is to saute vegetables in until they have a nice aroma. Today the vegetables that we'll be using are minced garlic, diced onion, and an assortment of red, orange, and green bell peppers. So I'm going to go toss those in our pan before it cools off. Well, before it gets too hot with nothing in there. And then I will be right back. I have dumped our vegetables into the skillet, and right now I'm just waiting for them to become a little soft as well as aromatic. As soon as they begin to do that, then I will add the things we're going to use for our sauce. So as far as the difference between stewing and braising when it comes to your sauce and or liquid, your braising is going to have less liquid or sauce than stewing. So with braising, you're only going to halfway or partially submerge the meat, as I discussed earlier. I will come back and show you that difference a little later. In stewing, you're going to fully submerge that meat. So one reason why I use a skillet today, one, because it's just me, so I don't cook large amounts of food because I don't want to waste it. But with the skillet, I still be able to submerge my chicken breast. But since I'm only using half of it, I'm going to I don't need a big pot to cook for chicken breast. Well, to braise. So our vegetables, as you can see, are starting to soften and get braised in our fond, as well as being sauteed in a little bit of oil I put there down there for that meat. Alright, so once they become they begin to have a little bit more of an aroma, then we will proceed to the next step. Now for our sauce, what I'm making is like a creamy cheddar cheese sauce. So what I did was I just added some cream of chicken condensed soup to the skillet, as well as some heavy whipping cream. And now I'm about to add some mild cheddar cheese to basically give it that cheddar flavor and make it a little bit more thick and creamy to cook our chicken in. So there we go. And what I'm doing is I'm adding about a cup. Our cheesy creamy sauce has become a little bit more creamy in consistency, and is looking pretty good. It's got a nice little bubble to it. I'm going to reduce the heat a little bit so that the cheese well, the sauce doesn't burn or overcook. And I'm going to add our chicken breast here back into the mix. So as we discussed earlier with braising, you only want to partially submerge the meat. So as you can see, the top half of our chicken breast will be sticking out of the skillet. So if your meat were to be fully submerged, then you would be stewing. We have all of our chicken breasts in our skillet here. What I'm going to do is cut off my stovetop, and I've already preheated my oven to 300 degrees. Because braising can take quite a bit of time, it's better to braise things in the stove because it'll it's surrounded by heat, whereas if you cook it on stovetop, the heat will be rising from the bottom and we don't want to overcook it. So what I've done is I preheated our oven to 300 degrees, and what I'm going to do is put the skillet in there. I'm going to cover it. I'm going to cover the skillet, and then I'm going to place it in the stove for approximately 30 to 45 minutes, and maybe even an hour, depending on how the chicken is looking and basically how everything turns out. So no more than an hour. But that's one of the benefits of braising and stewing, is that you can basically toss everything in a pot or a skillet, and then just kind of walk away for a little bit and take care of things that you need to do, and you can make larger portions. So if you have a larger family, it may be to your benefit to cook like a stew or a soup or something like that, something that a large group of people can eat off of, and things of that nature. Alrighty, you guys, well, I hope that you were able to learn something from this video and basically grasp the concept of the difference between braising and stewing. And I hope that you have a great rest of your day. Bye.